All right, this is Scott, KK4Z. I'm off on another adventure, and I'll see you out there. All right, well, as you can see, I made it to the campground. This is Black Rock Mountain State Park, and we are up near the top of the mountain. You can see through the trees. There's nothing but sky there. And then let me turn slowly. If you look over the top of that Airstream, you can see pretty much the same thing, nothing but sky. I've been here probably about three and a half hours, probably a little more than that. I've been operating for about 3.5 hours. I just got in and started working, and bands were pretty good. I decided to take a break, make myself something to eat, and then go back and do a little more. In 3.5 hours, I got about 105 contacts so far. That was kind of fun using FT8. Getting one about every 2 minutes, so that's pretty much one after the other, so it's been pretty good. I worked over into Europe, Spain. I got into Turkey again, which is unusual. I got into Canada, but this time I also got over into Saskatchewan and British Columbia. And so far I've worked out to Washington. Got quite a few. When I go inside, I'll do the inside equipment review a little bit later after I eat, and I'll talk about the contacts I made. Very nice little campsite here, very compact. If you notice, I'll go slow. There's pretty much just enough room for me and my little camper. So set up a 28.5 foot antenna with a 9-to-1 Unin, using my let's see if we can follow it out. That's about a 17-foot counterpoise. That's what we're running today. Bands are in good shape. I did have one equipment fail, and it's not the first time this item has failed on me. This chameleon choke does not seem to work. It's like a dead short and maybe a cold solder joint or something. I'm thinking about mailing it back to Chameleon and let them look at it. But when I go to run that, I get nothing through my radio. And at first I thought I had a little female-to-female connector. I thought it was that, but I swapped that out, and so it wasn't that. So it's something inside the coax. It's probably a bad connection in one of the PL connectors. But that's it. Again, nice day. It's everything's working well. Kind of enjoying it. I'm going to eat some dinner, then I'll get back inside and operate some more. My goal is to make, before I go back home, somewhere in the neighborhood of, between 200 and 300 contacts. I'm already more than halfway there. So we'll just play it by ear. So that's all I got. And once I get inside, we'll do an inside tour. All right, this is Scott. We'll see you later. All right. So we'll just take a look at what's going on here. And I'm still making some contacts. Setup today is my Yaesu FT710. You saw the antenna. I am running a PowerVerx power supply and my ThinkPad. Nothing overly exciting here. Just ticking along. Everything's doing good. So, all right, we'll talk to you more a little bit later. All right, just checking back in. It's about 9 o'clock at night. I'm still on 20 meters. I've been on 20 meters since 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's been running wide open. The band is going long. I'm getting into Washington, Oregon, California pretty easily. Getting into Western Canada. I went as far south as Uruguay and Argentina and Chile. I usually don't get into those while operating portable, but I made, and they're contacting me, which is really, really unusual. I got over into Europe, the Azores. I got into Spain, France, like I said, Turkey. It's just been wide open. I've got about 175 contacts so far. What I'm really hoping for is that the band goes a little bit long tonight. Well, it is going long. I hope it holds out long enough for me to maybe get Alaska if somebody's out there, and maybe Hawaii. I don't work those as much as I used to. And then of course I always try to get a VK or a New Zealand in there, but I like to see Alaska and Hawaii. Every time I go out, I try to work all 50 states, and I typically get 40 plus, and there's always a couple of them I can't get because either nobody's on or the band conditions are bad. But this time I'm shooting for distance. I'm hoping to get maybe Hawaii, maybe Alaska, but we'll see. I mean, all you can do is just take what's given you. But boy, 20 meters has just been holding up real well, and it's going strong. I'll talk to you more later. This is Scott. All right, another short clip. It's Wednesday morning, and I have made approximately 270 contacts all over the place. Band is long. I'm having trouble getting the close-in folks this time around. 20 meters really seems to be the money maker, but it's up and down too, as you can see. Everything's working as advertised. And just had breakfast of champions there, Honey Nut Cheerios and some coffee. So I'll check back in. It's been a good day. I may easily get 300, maybe close to 400 contacts for this trip. I usually start packing up this evening, then just spend the night relaxing and come home early the next morning. But we'll see how it goes. Radio, FT710, still running like a champ, doing what it's supposed to do. And life is good. We'll talk to you later. Hello, everyone. This is Scott, KK4Z, and I just finished up my POD activation at Black Rock Mountain State Park, and it was pretty wild. I ended up with 453 contacts, covered all but 4 states. Let's see if I remember. This time it was North Dakota, West Virginia, Hawaii, and Alabama. I think that was it. Anyhow, that was an odd combination. Like, you know, Alabama one state over, and anyhow, I think what was happening was the band went really long, and I was working into Europe. I did get Alaska this time, and the band was going long, and last night it kept stretching to the west. I kept thinking I was going to get Hawaii. It never made it to Hawaii. When I went to bed last night about midnight, and nothing beyond our west coast that I could work. Bands were up and down. Yesterday afternoon, I went QRV about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the bands were running like gangbusters. And then when I went to bed and I got up this morning, they were flat, just up and down, really, really odd. I was lucky to get what I did. I was going to try CW this weekend, and Every time I checked the CW bands, I didn't hear hardly a soul. And here in Georgia, that's kind of common when the bands are bad, but it just wasn't even worth me going into it. But I had a lot of fun. Black Rock Mountain State Park is a nice park. I'm closing in on my kilo, obviously. I probably have to come out here one or two more times to finish that up. But radios worked well. I had the FT710. That worked well. I had my 28.5-foot random wire antenna as a vertical. It ran well. It always runs well. It's one of my favorite antennas. Let's see. But yeah, band conditions. And I want to talk about dupes. I had a lot of people who were sending me duplicate requests, and maybe it needs to be explained. For a lot of organizations, a lot of schemes like POTA, you can only work a station once per band, per mode, per day. That's it. If you work it any more than that, it doesn't count, and it gets taken off your list. And sometimes these stations that want the dupes are hard of hearing or hard of transmitting, and you can spend a good couple of minutes working on a station that doesn't count. And so I usually have a little script that I write that I send dupe. And so let's talk about what a dupe is. First of all, let's talk about a day. A day in POTA is based on UTC or Zulu time. And midnight Zulu time is 8 p.m. or 2000 hours Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the Eastern Time Zone, currently the day changes over at 8 p.m., not midnight, 8 p.m. And that's when the new day starts. So anything prior to 8 p.m. will be the day before. Anything after will be the next day. So now we've established what a day is, and a day runs for 24 hours. It runs from 0000 Zulu to 2359 Zulu. Again, the new day in the Eastern Time Zone starts at 8 p.m. So we have that. Then you have a band, 20 meters, 40 meters, 30 meters, and you have the mode. In this case, we'll talk about FT8 because that's what I ran. So if you contact me on Wednesday, okay, at, we'll say 6 o'clock in the evening Eastern Time on 20 meters, I log you in, send you a 73 or a Roger 73, and then it becomes, we'll say, 20 after 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is now Thursday, where the prior day was Wednesday. 8:30 p.m. is now Thursday, and you work me again. That's perfectly good. I do the same thing. I log you in, send you the 73s to confirm that we had the QSO, and you're in my log. Now, we go to Thursday morning. We'll say 10 o'clock Eastern Time in the morning, and you try to contact me again on 20 meters. That is a duplicate contact because you tried to work me on 20 meters using FT8 twice in the same day. Because 8:30 p.m. last night Eastern is Thursday, and 10 o'clock this morning Eastern is also Thursday. So you can't it's a dupe. And I had one poor old soul. he was trying to contact me, 12, 15, 24 times. And he was a difficult station where, you might say, well, just work him and then cancel. Well, yeah, but if I'm spending 3 and 4 minutes because he's, way on the other side of the country and has a weak station, then, and especially today, this past activation where the bands were up and down and there was a lot of stations I only got one shot at, literally, and I lost a few stations. So, yeah, taking the time to spend 3 or 4 minutes working a dupe is not productive, and so I usually send a dupe, and hopefully they'll get the idea. I use that, what was it, line 5, where you can kind of put your own text in. I just put dupe. He'll send me something, and I'll send dupe instead. And most people get the idea. It's like, oh, I forgot, and they'll move on. But this guy, I had a couple guys that were just persistent. So for those of you out there, be cognizant of your dupes. If you use something like AC Log, N3 FJP software, when you put in a station, it'll show you all your previous entries. I see it all. I see it when I'm logging because I'll have my FT8 software on the right hand side, and I'll have my AC Log on the left hand side of my screen. And when a call sign comes up that I've worked it before, I check 2 things. I check the day, is it today or is it yesterday? And then I check the band, because some guys I was able to work on 3 different bands, but if it's the same day and the same band I worked before, that's a dupe. It just doesn't count, and it's counterproductive for you and it's counterproductive for me. But anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox. I've really just tried to be more informative than anything else. It was a fun activation. I'm probably going to head home tonight because I'm tired and sore, and had a lot of fun though. So anyhow, you all take care. Be safe. Be nice to each other. Like I said, I don't yell at people. I just say dupe and move on. And, everybody try to get along. All right, 73s, everyone. We'll talk to you later. This is Scott, KK4Z.